Projecting fragrances alone isn't good enough. We need projecting fragrances that are cheap. Let's talk about it.
Here's some codes to save you some cash on your next Middle Eastern niche or designer fragrances.
What's going on, guys? My name is Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. We're gonna be talking about 10 fragrances that perform really well, they project really well, and they're cheap. You know, that's the icing on the cake. First fragrance we're gonna start off with, right off the bat, we're gonna come in heavy with something that smells clean, but it's actually extremely loud. Louder than the original, actually. Extremely cheesy bottle, almost literally. This is a Evoke Gold. This smells a lot like Prodalone. Soapy florals, smells like laundry detergent, man. It smells like fabric softener vibes. You're gonna smell like a pillow she wants to rest her head on. Just don't be the pillow that she cries on about another guy. Be the guy that she's crying to. Don't make her cry. But this smells really good. It's projecting. It's long lasting. It's the best version of Prodalone for sure. Evoke Gold, I had this in my collection for a really long time. And Prodalone in itself is a clean fragrance that has gotten me a lot of attention. Just the cleanliness is sexy for a lot of women. Don't neglect the fact that sexy fragrances can be clean fragrances for sure. Bleu de Chanel for a lot of women is actually pretty sexy. Prodalone, pretty sexy. YSLY. But this one, Evoke Gold, a great projecting fragrance, also very sexy. Next one is sexy because it's sweet, it's also spicy, but the projection on this thing, man, it's like double uppercut straight to the nose with spices, vanilla, and just amazing stuff. Dumont Celerio Epic, my favorite version of the whole angel share twist DNA. Extremely loud, louder than Khamra, for sure louder than Khamra. Don't believe me? Try it for yourself. Extremely sexy, apple pie vibes. It smells like a hybrid of the original angel share, a bit boozier than Khamra, but it also has the spiciness of Khamra in itself. Super sexy fragrance. If I could wear this every day, I would, but I have to test a lot of these fragrances. This has lasted on clothing for 3 freaking days. 3 freaking days, worth every penny. And this is the same brand that actually makes Perlador, Barouge. They're known to make great fragrances. I highly recommend this fragrance. Such a sleeper, because of Khamra, but Khamra does deserve the hype, but try Celerio Epic, see if you touch your Khamra again. This next fragrance smells very similar to a very discontinued favorite fragrance of mine, Armani Code Profumo. It is my favorite from the entire DNA. Absolutely, I know a lot of people love that fragrance. It's a bit drier, but for me personally, the creamy nature of the leather, the mandarin, the tonka bean of Profumo makes it sexier. And this is pretty much a twist of it. I get, for whatever reason, like 5-10% of this Killian's Black Phantom vibe. It's like this dark chocolate with the Armani Code Profumo. I spray this on about 8 times. And when I spray it 8 times, I can smell myself like damn near the entire day. For $25 or less, an extreme hidden gem. Seriously, don't sleep on this. It's called Sapil's Bound. Ban, frickin' tap for cheap. I mean, you can't complain. It smells amazing. Next one, the comment section are gonna get torched up if it's not in stock by the time I post this video, and it likely isn't to be, but let me tease you a little bit with this banging ass fragrance because it's so damn good. And this is Fragrance World's Liquid Brune. Ladies and gentlemen, this smells just like Altair. It's about 95% close, okay? I know 95 is really damn close, Neeb. Like you're treading in, like you're pushing it. But that's what I genuinely believe it to be. 95% close. It performs better. It's louder. Yeah. I still have the original. Now, granted, I still have the original. I wouldn't take it back. There's just a little bit of a difference. The main difference that's gonna dictate or really take over that whole 5 to 10% difference, let's call it 90%, is the fact that this one is a bit more diffusive. And that really translates or is because of the quality. So the citruses, etc., the brightness in the top of this fragrance is a little bit brighter than this. This is a little bit more towards like the syrupy side of things, but it's so negligible that the average nose is not even gonna tell. But because of the facts is the reason why this one lasts a longer. Panty dropper right here. This is a panty dropper. Next up is a really good fragrance in terms of projection department. This is borderline too strong if you spray it too much. It's cinnamon, a lot of vanilla, some osmanthus, cinnamon and earthy vibes with vanilla. This is Legion by Fragrance World. Parfums de Marly Wajan on a more affordable basis. It's about 85%, but it's still extremely close. I freaking love this fragrance. One of my favorite from Fragrance World right here. You're gonna get attention, especially during the cooler weather. This is awesome, an amazing fragrance. Legion by Fragrance World. Speaking of spicy, sexy, seductive, let's switch it up and go a little bit tropical. This was very unusual. It's pineapple, it's creme brulee, it's sweet. It was very unusual, but now so addicting to me. And this is Lattafa's Honor and Glory, or Badi Al Oud Honor and Glory. It's literally exactly that. It's pineapple cream. Very unusual at first, but so freaking addicting. And in the air, this smells really, yeah, this smells really nice. This is like if Qaid al-Fursan had a baby with like Kayali's Yum Pistachio or something like that. Very unusual, very different. I like this one a lot. And in the air, she will too. Next one, a lot of people talked about and it kind of just died off. but it's still really good. It's dates, it's ambery, it's sexy, it's Dolce & Gabbana The One Luminous Night on a budget. It's the one and only Moonlit Night. A sexy ass fragrance. There have been a couple of other fragrances that tread in the same territory, but they're a little different. The other ones are a little bit more of twists. Art of Arabia 3 is a different type of fragrance, if you will. This is a bit lighter, not as ambery, not as sweet, and for that reason, it kind of projects on me a little bit more. It doesn't last as long as Art of Arabia 3, but man, I freaking love this fragrance. Dolce & Gabbana The One Luminous Night is so hard to find at this point in time that this is the go-to for sure. The one and only Moonlit Night that you can wear to dates or even around town, and in the air, it smells fantastic. Next one on this list smells a lot like Montel's Intense Cafe. Very unisex. It's not gonna be for everybody, but I swear on everything I love, this is on my hoodie 5 days later. Like, who the needs 5 days, okay? I thought Celerio Epic was epic with the 3 days performance, but no, you guys want Sillage? Listen, that's exactly what this is. This is Haramain's Tanasuk. This smells like rose, coffee. There's a cherry undertone to this vibe, to this fragrance. It's pretty unisex. A lot of you gentlemen might find this one to be pretty femme, but I don't. I think this is so sexy, man. Rose, coffee, brown sugar, sexy fragrance. Very sexy, extremely high quality smelling. This is the Extrait de Parfum by Tanasuk by Al Haramain. Wow. This is a list about projection. So the projection, you are absolutely gonna get her freaking attention. Next one isn't gonna be the longest lasting, but still, it gives me 8 hours, but the projection is just monstrous for the first 2 hours. This is Spectre Ghost by Fragrance World. You really can't spray this more than 5 times, because if you do that initial blast, it's crazy, man. It's just absolutely insane. It's vanilla, ambroxan, some peppers, sexy fragrance, kind of in a similar vein as something like this, but it's more of a twist. It's got some ginger in it. It does things a little bit different, but if you like vanilla-based fragrances, this and that are definitely not redundant fragrances. They both do it in different ways. This goes more ambery, this stays a little bit brighter, or this goes more sexy, spicy, this goes zingy, vanilla, ginger, crisp. So they're quite different, but the longevity of this, like I said, it's still really not that bad. 8 hours is fantastic. It's the projection on this bad boy that's just absolutely insane. Last fragrance on this list is going to be a just spicy, sexy, boozy. This projects harder than the original. A lot of people have been complaining about Nishio Side Effect not really performing. Whenever I spray Nishio Side Effect, I do a minimum of 7 to 10 sprays. That's just the way it is, because it is relatively, I don't want to call it soft, but very refined. This one's a little bit more in your face. So it is definitely more in your face. And because of that, I don't spray this more than 6 to 8 times. So it is more of a projecting fragrance. That's just, that's the name of the game. Don't hate the player, hate the freaking game. And this, it's in our favor because it's cheaper. It's called After Effect by Fragrance World. Damn near the same fragrance, man. It's about 90%. The funk in this fragrance, spice in this fragrance is a little bit more intrusive. It's gonna be in your face, but because of that, it's gonna project so much freaking better. The longer this sits, the stronger it gets, but right off the box or right out of the box, I got a minimum of 7 hours. Now it's all freaking day. On clothing, 12 plus hours. I've smelled this on my hoodies as well in the next freaking 2 days. So yeah, After Effect by Fragrance World, I personally think it'll give you at least 10 hours, and on clothing to the next day. So there you have it, 10 fragrances, but I did realize that one of these fragrances, although is very sexy, it's not the craziest in terms of projection. It's gonna be this one, the one and only Moonlit Night. A sexy ass fragrance, but this should be about projecting. So I'm not gonna cut this out. I could have cut this out and left this one out, but it's still a sexy ass fragrance that deserves to be on a sexy list. So it's still gonna stay here. So no, it's not gonna slap people in the face and projection, etc. It is a bit diffusive. You're gonna smell it in the air, but it's within like 3 feet. Since we're keeping this one, I think it's only fair to give you another fragrance. So technically 11 fragrances, and this one definitely projects, especially for the first 2 hours. You're gonna smell yourself extremely easily. For me personally, I smell myself for like up to 4 hours. I've rocked this to the gym. It's extremely versatile, but it also has a sexy mass appeal to it as well. It's blue. It's got an oriental spice with some sexy ambers in the dry down. It's basically Blue Electric on a budget, Jack of Clubs by Fragrance World. There is another alternative to it, but it goes a little bit more blue, more lavender, less around the spices and the citrus at the top. And for that reason, I like this one a bit more. Projection is outstanding for Jack of Clubs. I've gotten compliments. I wore this twice in a row, and both days at the gym, I've gotten compliments while wearing Jack of Clubs. And I've worn a Nashama Caprice, which is the other alternative. It's a great fragrance as well. If you're looking for total longevity, especially wearing it during the cold, it's excellent. The lavender is much more creamy, frothy, much more barbershoppy, definitely a Nashama. But this one, projection, spice, just the way that it comes off of the skin. For me personally, this is definitely my favorite. Jack of Clubs by Fragrance World. 10 cheap projecting fragrances that'll get her attention. Cheap is important. These are cheap, and these are excellent fragrances. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and until the next video, Peace.